I'm Dr. Sugirti from Venkataeswara Hospitals. We are basically a cardiology hospital, but we also have medicine units, wards, and intensive care unit and cardiac care unit. We also have a cath lab for angiogram. So we are just right there opposite. Okay. So today is World Organ Donation Day, and to spread awareness, I'm here to talk about organ donation to you. The topic is quite grim because we don't usually think about organ donation if you're going to do something really like charitable thing. We'd usually think about blood donation, right? Because yeah, you can donate blood. So while we're starting, I just like to know about organ donation. What do you know? What are your fears? So that I can address that, because this is going to be an awareness session. I can see just talk what is on the slides. I'd like to know your understanding of organ donation. So I just randomly pick someone. You can just say whatever comes to your mind. Okay. So, what do you think when you say organ donation? What comes to your mind? You can say anything. This is just a discussion session. So we are just warming up. You have heard of blood donation? Have you donated blood? Superb, congrats. So, what comes to mind when you think about organ donation? You've seen, I think there are quite a few movies on OTT platform for organ donation, right? Yeah, it's an upcoming topic now. So, what organs do you think can be donated?
So, see, each and every human of organs inside the body. So, it's all unvaluable.
Definitely, yes.
So, once we can donate organs to human.
Okay.
It's unvaluable.
Yes. Thank you very much. Anyone else would like to say about organ donation? What about the beautiful ladies? Anything? What do you know about organ donation? Anyone? We come to this side. So, anything about organ donation that you know?
It's basically of transplant.
Yes.
We can donate either eyes,
Yeah.
kidneys,
Yes.
could be tissues,
Yes.
from the cells.
Yes.
Basically, these are the organ donation that we see. It's a good thing. It's a good initiative, like after the death,
Okay.
where we can sign up by donating the organs before it's, so that after the death, where it can be used for other lives.
To save other lives,
Yeah,
yes. Okay. Thank you. So usually when we talk about organ donation, it's a very grim prospect because mostly we discuss, can switch this off. Mostly we discuss about organ donation only if a person has passed away, unfortunately due to a road traffic accident or irreversible brain death. But again, there is other options like live organ donations. Like we hear someone saying that my husband has kidney failure, so we are searching for any live donors, like our son, his sisters, family members. So there is also something called as live donors. So live donors are usually for organs like kidneys, because we have two kidneys, and if it's functional, a person can donate one of their kidneys to their loved ones if they are a match. And another live organ donation would be liver. Part of your liver, only a part of it, will be donated to someone who's close to you and who is a match. So a lot of medical tests will be done to make sure that the person, the donor, and the person who receives it, the recipient, are a good match, so that this is a major surgery and we prevent the rejection. Okay, rejection is the recipient is not taking the organ well. Okay, right. So when we talk about donating any part of the body, initially the first thing we think of is blood donation. So say if a person is donating blood, not just, I mean, you're donating your whole blood, right? So a part of it will be separated and say a part of it will be separated into 3 or 4 parts: the plasma, the clotting factors, and the blood cells. So one person donating 1 unit of blood can save 3 people with 3 different conditions. It can be a mother who's delivering a baby and has had a severe blood loss. It can be a child who has had a severe hemorrhage, or it can be someone who's undergoing a major surgery and is profusely bleeding on table. So blood donation by itself is the most noble thing that we can do every day. And there are very strict rules when it comes to any donation. The person who's willing to give their blood or any organ will be checked, assessed if they are healthy, if their organ is viable. Okay, so okay. In in our country, you may very well know that there are a lot of people who are dying every day because of organ damage. Can be any organ. So initially, for a person to say that they need an organ donation, they must have lost around 80 to 90% of the organ's capacity to function normally. So what happens to those people is we try to manage them with medicines, and say for kidney failure patients, we try to manage their condition with dialysis, which is very costly, and a person might have to go through dialysis several times a week, and it can be a financial, emotional burden and strain for them. So what we do is at that point we put them on a transplant list, and once the person enters the transplant list, literally what happens, the whole family and the person would be waiting for the call from the transplant committee if organ is available. It's a very tedious, emotionally draining process, and it's not just adults. We are also talking about kids, newborn babies. Okay, so a lot of babies can be born with defects, and that defects will not be surgically or medically amenable to treatment. So such babies and their parents are dependent on the donor who is going to provide them with the life-saving measure for that kid and for their parents. So the reason why we are talking about organ donation today is because India is literally, I think, somewhere last on the list when it comes to uh, organ donation. A lot of people, they don't have any idea about organ donation, and mostly they are scared. That's because of the information, lack of information, and a lot of misinformation. So today, my goal would be to provide you some basic information about organ donation, and if at all, if you're interested, how you can just register online. It's a very simple process. Everything has become, you know, yeah, instant and online today. So So you can simply register and have a donor card. That is one option. So once you have a donor card, you can inform your near and dear that you are actually willing for organ donation if at all something unfortunate happens. And another thing would be if someone is brain dead, then their family members will be advised about organ donation. And then, if they are willing, then the hospital will move forward with harvesting the organs. Okay. Does anyone here have any fear about organ donation? Because obviously we are all scared of the topic of organ donation, because it inevitably discusses death and donating organs, and we are simply scared because we don't want to think about that aspect. So like we said, donation happens on so many levels, starting from blood donation and live organ donation. And here, the inevitable thing, if unfortunately happens, we are just trying to inform you about the other option, being cadaveric organ donation. That is after a person has been declared dead. Okay. So we have just prepared some slides to give you some ideas about organ donation. So we'll start. So it so happens that RTAs, road traffic accidents are common in India, in anywhere in the world, and in such instances, there are a lot of people who come forward. The families of the deceased come forward to donate their organs. Next slide. So this 12-year girl had succumbed to her injuries in a road traffic accident, and her heart was transported from Chandigarh to Chennai for organ transplant. So how long do you think this process should take? Heart is a very vital organ, so ideally within 4 to 6 hours, it has to go from the donor to the recipient. Otherwise, it won't be viable. Okay, next slide. So this is just examples of those people who do some heroic efforts and decisions to provide the deceased person's organs for donation. So it is not an easy process the family has to go through, but they make this choice to make sure that their daughter lives through these people, right?
We often hear that getting a donor,
Yes.
organ donor, is a big
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
because there are so many people who have registered their name and they have been waiting for years.
Yes.
Few people are saying it is absolutely useless to register and wait till the time the condition gets worse.
Yeah, a lot of people die waiting for organ donors. That's because the number of recipients is far more than the number of donors. Yeah, that's because people don't know, they're not willing, and there is a lack of information. And we also miss the window. When the person dies, we have very few hours to harvest the organs. So it has to involve, if the person has already registered and wants to donate, it's an easy process. We can go from there, make sure that everything happens on time. But if we have to involve the family, and it takes time. So if we cross the window where we can harvest the organs, then it's futile. So yeah, from the patient, from the time the patient is declared brain dead, irreversible damage has been done. Major organs should be harvested somewhere between 4 to 6 hours, meaning it has to go from the person who has been recently deceased to the recipient. So it involves a lot of people who to hospitals, surgeons, and the police, and there has to be a green corridor to make sure that usually they airlift the organ. So it involves a lot of people, a lot of team. It's a combined effort. Yes. So cadaver organ donation is what we talk about when a person has died, and then we harvest their organs for organ donation. So there is live organ donation and cadaver organ donation. Live is someone who's giving a part of their liver or kidney for their loved one if they are going through a surgery. And cadaver organ donation is if someone has died and has been declared dead but has a healthy organ systems. Then if the family is willing and if the person is willing, we harvest their organs for organ donation. Next slide. So the reason why we are talking about this is because, like I said, right from young kids and a lot of people, they are waiting for organ donation every day, and in the hope that they'll get an organ, some people just simply die. And a lot of people, around 50,000 deaths per day in India. I think I'm underestimating it. A lot of people die waiting for their organ donation. And some people, they simply don't have the means, the financial means to go ahead with their treatments, because dialysis costs a lot. They have to do dialysis 3 times a week, and they're doing it for every day. People don't have that kind of money. Same for liver transplant. If they go for liver failure, then they have very less days. Their mortality, they're literally counting their days. So even if we put them on a transplant list, it is very rare that they get organ donor who matches their blood group and everything else to everything happen on time. It's very rare in India because the number of donors is very, very less. Okay. Next slide. So transplant has been going on in foreign countries for quite a long time. In India, it has been quite recent. So initially, kidney transplant was the first successful transplantation that was done. And from there, if we say which is a very difficult transplantation, then I'd say lung transplant. It's quite difficult. Okay, difficult in means that the person who takes the organ should start functioning normally in that person, and it takes a lot of effort, surgery, and medications. So these are the list of transplant that has been done successfully in India, starting from 1967 to 1999. So we'll talk about what organs can be harvested in the next few slides. So like I said, like Sir said, pointed out, a lot of people die every day because they don't have a donor. It's because we need somewhere around 500,000, 200,000. Such many people are waiting for organ donation, and we have very less, in thousands. We only have donors in thousands, and it only goes to the people who are on the top of the list, so who need it in an emergency situation. And a lot of reasons why they're on top of the list. So the people at the lower level, they don't get organs, and they end up dying because of the complications of their organ failure. I'm also talking about children. A lot of children die because they don't get organ donated to them on time. Okay. So India is one of the countries where organ donation is sadly on the lowest side. Next slide. So this is a picture representing what are the organs that can be harvested, that can be taken from a person who has been declared brain dead. Brain dead as in the person has irreversible damage to their brain and won't be able to wake up. Okay. So what are the organs that we harvest is cornea, not the entire eye, just the outer part of it. Major organs like heart, lungs, liver, kidneys, and intestines and pancreas. On the blue color are the major organs, the green color are the minor tissues of the body. Initially, organ transplantation involved only the major organs of the body, but recently with the medical advances, we are able to harvest even the tissues that is needed for transplant. Okay, so minor tissues, someone could be blind and need a cornea transplant. So anyone can be a cornea transplant donor, and it is like you're giving vision to someone else. Can be anyone. Okay, right. Next slide. So this is the approximate time that organ needs to be harvested. If you see for the major organs, it needs to be harvested in 4 to 6 hours, meaning it has to go from the donor to the recipient through surgery, which is a very small window. So we also have problems for shifting from the donor to the recipient because it involves 2 major surgeries and transporting from one part of India to the other. So it takes a lot of team, and there should be zero delay at every point, because the point is to bring the viable organ to the recipient. Otherwise, the surgeries, everything else goes to waste. Okay. So around 500,000 people, they die waiting for organs. So there are 2 types of donation. One is live, like I said, and the other one is cadaver or deceased donation. Live donation is we are just giving a part of our organs to them. The donor and recipient, they are both healthy and alive, right? Whereas in deceased, the person who is giving the organ has died, and the other person, the donor, receives their organs. So for live donation, usually we go for their closest relatives, like their brothers, sisters, parents, right? And there is also bone marrow transplant, where they take part of your bone for cancers like blood cancer, right? So there is also that part of transplant that goes on. And in cadaver or deceased donation, obviously, a person, for one person who has been declared brain dead, he can give life to almost 8 to 10 people. His heart goes to a person, 2 lungs goes to a person, kidneys, liver, pancreas, his corneas. So one person who has decided that he is going to donate his organs is going to give life to 8 to 10 people. So usually, like I said, in road traffic accident, people who have been declared brain dead, we take organs from them. And another part is cardiac death. Someone who has had a massive heart attack. That person, we cannot take his heart obviously, but other organs will be viable. We can harvest his organs if the family and the person who has died is willing. Okay. So what happens? What is the process that goes through is the diagnosis. It starts at the top of the circle. It starts with a diagnosis. So a person has been diagnosed with organ failure. Then the doctor puts them on a transplant list after discussing with the family, and then evaluates the patient for his blood group type and everything. And then they look for a match. In the organ donor match, they look if anyone else is in the donor list who's a match. And then if there is a match available, then they go forward with the surgery. Otherwise, the person will be waiting for the organ. So these are the common questions that a lot of people have about organ donation. So who can be a donor? There is no age limit. Anyone can be a donor. And the person should not have major diseases, right? Like diabetes or hypertension, because these diseases can decline the organ function for the person itself, right? So another common doubt people have is, if say I'm ill and the doctor knows that I'm going to be a donor, so will the doctor try to save me or not? So there is no such thing that once a person becomes a donor that anyone is going to try to take their organs. No such thing. Only if the person dies of natural causes, or unfortunately in a road traffic accident and has been declared brain dead, the person will be used for organ donation, right? So say someone has not been a donor, has not been registered to be a donor, then who gets to decide if the person can donate his organs? Obviously, a brain dead person, for a brain dead person, his immediate family. Like in the first case that we saw, the 12-year-old girl who died, her parents took the decision to make her a donor. So immediate family, either the wife or parents, whoever is close to them, can take the decision to donate their organs. So another thing that people have is, okay, yeah, right, if a person dies, won't it disfigure their body, taking their organs out? No, it doesn't. So this is going to be just like any major surgery. They are going to open up, harvest the organ and close, right? Anyone who goes through a surgery, we are going to do the same thing for a person who has been deceased. So there is no disfigurement, and we won't be afraid about how the person is going to look, in their casket, for the viewing of the relatives. When a person dies, we obviously don't want the person to look bad or disfigured, right? Because we want our relatives to come pay their last respects, and we are afraid that if the person is disfigured, then it might cause some issues. No such thing will happen. The person, it will be done like a normal surgery. Everything will be stitched up, and the person will be treated with utmost respect, because doctors understand the value of organs. So anything, even if a person is deceased, everything will happen with utmost respect, right? So there is no delay, because as we saw that the organs need to be harvested within 4 to 6 hours. Though there is no delay in the funeral processes for the person who has been deceased, right? Okay, so in India, selling organs for organ donation is a crime. So there is no compensation, there is no financial compensation. It is actually illegal and punishable by law. So whoever donates their organs, they come forward by their own will, and the family who donates their organs will not be compensated, and no one will ask them to pay money for the organ donation, right? So it's a very free process on both sides. It has to be transparent. So the transplant happens, like I said, it went from Chandigarh to Chennai. It depends whoever is on the list and where they are located. So whoever is on the list can be anywhere in India, and according to that, they have to plan the transport and the surgeries, right? So there is no priority on the transplant list based on the person's financial status. So the person being on a transplant list, whether or not they are high above or lower in the list, is basically determined only by their medical status, not by anything else, not by their influence, not by their money, not by anything else. Okay, right. So currently there is no religion that says that you're not supposed to donate your organs. But again, if anyone has any trouble about that, you can always go and discuss this with either a priest or anyone else that you see as a religional head. Okay. So, if anyone is interested in donating your organs, you can register online www.dmrhs.gov.in. Okay, so you can just get a donor card. You just have to enter your name, age, your blood group, and a few other details, whether or not you're willing to donate all your organs, any particular organs that you have in mind. So you just have the donor card ready because it just shows that you're willing for a donation, right? So it does not do anything else. Like, this does not mean that someone is going to come after you to get your organs. No such thing. It just means that you're going to register so that you're willing for an organ donation. This speeds up the process of organ donation because otherwise the family will have to be involved and it takes a long process. Okay. Right. Any doubts? Anyone has any doubts? I know some of us dozed off. That's okay. Acceptable. Yeah.
I entered for donation.
Yes.
So okay, somebody has entered for donation.
Okay.
And he passed away in some accident.
Okay.
And the family he didn't inform his family that he is donated or something.
Okay.
If he dies, how they intimate us that he has died?
So this is a very good question. First thing is, if we are registering, we have to inform our family members, close ones, that I have just registered for organ donation. Otherwise, it gets difficult. And another thing is, doctors will ask the family if they have registered, and they can access the registry if this person's name comes up in the registry for donation. So with these information, we can inform the family that this person has willingness for donation and has registered for the donor card, and we can discuss with the family, and sometimes the family may or may not want to, but most of the times the family always respects the wishes of the deceased person, and they also are discussed about the importance of organ donation, and it's like he's going to live, like by donating his organs, he's going to immortalize himself. Anything else? So you understood something about organ donation and how simple it is to register. No doubts, right? DMRHS. RHS. You just type organ donation, India, Tamil Nadu. There are various levels or organizations. So it's either www.noto, N-O-T-T-O. Okay, either that, it's on the central level. Tamil Nadu level, you have organizations. So simply you have to enter your details and blood group, any organs you're willing to donate. That's all. You just register. So say not everyone who registers need to die young. No, they can die old and happy. Natural causes like they can die, and if they are a donor and we find out that they are a donor, then we can harvest their organs depending on how viable they are. Simply be your eyes, the outer part of the eye, meaning someone else who has been blind for their entire lives can finally get to see. Basically, you transform into a god for the people who receive your organs. That's all. So we are not. So I wish long, happy life to everyone who's here. Simply because I talk about organ donation doesn't mean nothing sinister. But again, we are doing this as an act of altruism. Anything else? Okay. Thank you very much. Yes.
Somebody has deformities like diabetes or hypertension.
Yes.
And it is maintained under control. And unfortunately, they passed away and they've registered themselves as an organ donor. Can they donate?
Yes, sir. Thing is, not their major organs, but their eyes, their corneas. They can donate their corneas because it's just their outer part of their eyes. So not every doctor is going to take every organ. So depending, like you said, almost everyone has diabetes and hypertension these days. So depending on their the age at which they died, the cause by which they died, and how viable their organs are, they are going to just take the organs which can be donated, which is deemed medically fit for donation.
If somebody has this TB and sugar, the internal organs cannot be donated.
Depends. If say with fitness we find out that the kidneys have been damaged, because of long standing 20-25 years of diabetes, yeah, then the person cannot donate their kidneys. And another thing I'd like to add is, say for someone who has recently died and has donated their kidneys, the person who receives their kidneys can live happily up to 8 to 12 years. And if it's a live donation, say someone who is living is giving their kidney to someone, say his husband and wife, or a father or son. If it is a live donation, then the viability of the kidney is more, say somewhere around 20 years. So there is also that factor, right? Okay. So anything else? No doubts, right? Okay. Thank you. Thank you for your time.